Yeah, g'day scrappers. Just going to be doing a little project today of picking up a TV on the side of the road and seeing what sort of copper we can get out of it. Now I just saw that there's a TV up here right there, so I'm going to pick this TV up. So yeah, I'm going to take this TV that's sitting on the side of the road and just going to do a little project today of stripping the TV down, removing all the copper that we can get out of just one TV and seeing what we get out of it, melt it down. Well, this one's a Sony, so it might be a pretty good one to strip down. So, okay, that should do us. Okay, well, we've got our TV now. And so basically what I wanted to do is just do a bit of experiment on picking up a TV off the side of the road and taking out all the copper that we can get out of it and seeing how much we can get from an average TV. Yes, Sonys are pretty good when it comes to copper, and so if you're looking for a bit of free copper to do your own projects or whatever, yeah, there's still quite a lot of CRT TVs around the traps. Okay, well here we are with our Sony Triniton, and we're just going to start scrapping it out now and seeing what copper we can get out of it. Okay. Our first bit of wire. Now we just, with the regular insulator wire, it's only 32% copper, if that. So we don't strip insulator wire, we just sell it out. Okay. Alright, well, that's a circuit board. We'll just get it out. There we go. Under the cap, there is a discharge unit. So as soon as you turn off the TV from the power, the discharge unit engages and it removes that last bit of charge. You'll hear a little click. When you turn off the TV, it'll be a little click. And that's it, but I'll show you anyway. If I can get it off. Okay. I think it's kind of dropped out, but inside here it's just a automatic discharging unit. Now, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, there's charge still left in these. Well, that was for very old TVs, like, you know, probably 70s or pre-75, I'd say, maybe 80. They didn't have the discharge unit, so TV technicians were getting zapped unless they earthed the TV out. But, you know, modern CRTs, say from 1985 onwards, they all have this little discharging unit. So if you look up a little bit, do a bit of research, you'll find that they do have an automatic discharge. Otherwise, there would have been a lot more people getting zapped over time. And like I said, I've done so many TVs over the last 3 or 4 years that, you know, I haven't seen any discharging. So it's a myth. You know, people see one subject on it on the internet, and then all of a sudden, oh, you know, oh, there's so much charge in there. Yes, I understand that inside the circuit board you've got capacitors. Okay, so you got this big capacitor here, you know, and yeah, I've heard that capacitors can hold a lot of charge as well, but yeah, I just haven't seen it. I don't crush it down capacitor, I just leave them on the boards. There is no power running through the actual circuit board, and I strip them right down. So, and thousands of people all over the world do it, and you very rarely hear of anyone getting zapped. Okay, so I'll just quickly scrap this out. Okay, so first board here, it's just the top of the yoke there. Nothing on here, so all I do is just clean off some of the wire, and the rest just goes into scrap steel. You can put these in with power boards if you want to get away with that. And usually one of these, usually the top one, is always stainless steel. If you have a stainless steel bucket, you might want to keep these clamps. Otherwise, just throw them in steel. So we've got another section here. Because it's a Sony, it's a little bit more, you know, involved, as I said. So in there, we've got some copper spools in there. So we'll be able to remove this copper as well. We've also got some extruded aluminium, some wires to clean up. And the main yoke. Okay. So here's our main yoke. Now this one here will probably be steel. Just run it over a magnet. But we also got some copper spools going around. And being a Sony, as I said, they're more elaborate. You've got a lot more stuff on them. You've got a couple more copper spools here. And obviously we've got the copper under the ferrite. Nice copper here. And the copper within this plastic we can get to. We just have to smash up the yoke. Some people try and pull them apart, but I just prefer to just smash them up quickly. And also this cabling around here, it's part of the degaussing system. There's also some good copper here. Now because this one is thick copper, it's classed as about, you know, anywhere from 75 to 90% copper and 10% insulation. It's worth stripping. This is like high grade copper wire, so we definitely will strip this. We just don't strip the small stuff. So here's our main part of copper we're going to get out of the TV. So this is going to add up quite a bit. And then finally, aside from some wire, we also got the braided copper wire that I recently done a video on tinned copper. So that's the braided wire. We keep that separate. And then the main degaussing cable, and Sonys usually always have a dual system, like 2 pieces rather than one continuous piece. Okay, so here's our degaussing cable, and this, as you can see, it's very thick. It's about a third of an inch thick. Again, being a better quality TV, you're always going to get a better quality degaussing. And you know, sometimes they will be aluminium, but it's usually in very cheap TVs, and you can tell because they're very light. But in this case, we've got a really nice heavy degaussing cable. So I'm going to strip this back and get all the copper out of this, and this will also be part of our meltdown. One more. Another nice piece. Now these are about 3 to 4 foot long each one, so you know we get quite a decent amount of copper considering there's about a third of an inch. As I said, we'll remove the speakers for a bit of scrap steel. But that's all the copper we pretty much get out of it, so I'll just clean it up and then we'll just close her off. Okay, well, we're done here now. We've got our nice bit of braided wire that we can put in our bucket, and now the TV's been scrapped out. We've got our insulated wire, we've got all our circuit board and yoke and degaussing cable that we're going to strip down and get the copper out. Now it's time to just close it up and send it off to the transfer station. Okay, so I'll just screw her up and I'll take it to the recycling centre, and that way the lead content in the tube and everything, it doesn't go into landfill. You know, that's the most important. If you're picking up TVs off the street, it's basically your responsibility from then on. So if you take them away, don't dump them back onto the street after you've scrapped them out. If there's no regular pickup sort of cycle going on, you need to take them to either a transfer station or somewhere like Goodwill, someone that will take these TVs and recycle them properly. You know, you've already got your value out of it, you got your copper and that. And what I do is I wait till I build up about 6 or so TVs, as well as other recyclables like plastic and cardboard, and I take it all in one go and drop everything off to the recycling centre. And that way I'm conscious free. I know that, you know, they're not going into landfill. Okay, we're ready to start getting our copper now. Now we've got our 3 main components. We have the yoke, which is majority of our copper. Next up we got the degaussing cable, which, as you can see, we've got some really nice copper under here. And we've got our main power board, where we're going to get some copper from the spools all around it, and wherever we can find a bit of copper to melt down without going too much into stripping down the transformers. As I said, not really worth it. So got our 3 components. Let's get started smashing up the yoke, stripping the degaussing cable and removing the copper spools. Okay, so I've cut the degaussing cables into smaller pieces just so I can strip them easier, and all I basically use is just a knife with a flat blade, and I just cut along and just strip it like that. There's because it's insulated wire, it doesn't really work in a stripper. So it doesn't take too long to sort of strip it like this. I've done all the rest. So basically just, you know, try and speed things up a little bit. But it only takes a few minutes, especially once you get the roll going. It's pretty quick. And so then all I do is just obviously just peel out the copper, wind it up, and so we've got everything ready now. And so as you can see, like this amount of copper compared to there, it's high grade because there's, you know, at least 85% by weight copper compared to insulation, probably even more, maybe 90%. So you never sell this stuff, you always try and strip out, especially the bigger the degaussing cable, the better off you are to strip it. And so out of this Sony we've got quite a bit of copper, and even that small one that was around the yoke, same deal. Lots of good wire here. Alright, so that's all from the degaussing cable alone. So we've got pretty nice little pile here. So I'll just put it in my little bucket. And next thing was from the yoke, this top thing. So there's just a couple of little spools here. Not a lot of copper, but still it's a little bit. So I've got some ferrite. So these are just plastic. Cut off the plastic and wind off our copper. So on some of it you've got a little bit of glue. So if the glue sticks, that's not too bad because it's going to melt off and we're going to put borax in there that's going to trap all that impurities out. So another little pile, and I'll just do all these 4. Nice and easy, quickly. A little bit more. Alright, and there's another 2 here. I'll do these off camera. And so we can just throw this away. We'll just take off these 2 aluminium heat sinks, and the rest we'll just throw into scrap steel. So that's them. And next we've got our main power board. So we've got a nice little spools here. Can break off the ferrite. And usually we can get a screwdriver and put that through there. So just to give you an idea, just wind it off. So more good copper wire. And the other side, so I'll do that. Got another spool. So again, got a bit of glue, sticky stuff, but try and get rid of some of it if you can. The rest will just come off in the melt. These are nice and easy. And that's just left with plastic. So there we go. Another nice piece of copper. Get rid of some of the glue. Alright, what else we've got? So everything else that's worth taking off, but it's not copper, like the IC chips, I'll leave them on, but I'll take them off before I get rid of the board. So we've got a transformer here. Now in this case, as I mentioned, it's not worth stripping these apart because they're wrapped up in tape. There's very little copper. You might as well just throw this whole lot in with your transformers. All I do is just remove this nice little piece of copper here, and so we can add that to our pile. So that just goes as transformer. Really not worth stripping. Another spool here. Same thing, I'll unwind it. What else we got? A little spool in here. These ones with the little ferrite tops on them. It's a little transformer or a little something. I can just break off the top. So we just break off this ferrite. pull it all out. Okay, so we just got a bit of ferrite left, throw it in scrap steel. And some more copper here. So quite a nice piece of copper, considering how much it was just on a little tiny little thing. So that's pretty good, nice and easy. Any more here? Yeah, like these transformers, not worth it. And you might be able to see the copper is actually insulated, so it's got its own sort of tape around the wire, so it's throw that in with transformers, much better off, save yourself some time. This one here, because it's mostly plastic, it's just got this steel clip, but you can see the copper in here, so this one's worth stripping out. See, the rest of this is mostly plastic, so the most of the weight is in your actual copper wire. Oh, this one was semi-ferrite. Yeah, so it's kind of half and half. Okay, so we just need to unwind this tape and get our bit of wire out. Okay, so there we've got some nice copper here. You can just sort of, it's still got a bit of glue on it, but that's fine. That'll all come out. Easier just to cut straight through it. And just peel it off like that in chunks. What else we've got? Really, that's about it. Like, we've got this little spool here. We can get some of this out. Some of it is insulated over the top and the rest is clean, but that insulation, because it's only very thin, it's actually separate. Yeah, so that's insulated. We don't want to melt that because it's no good for the environment or to breathe it in. So I can just get that out. Okay, so the rest of that is nice and clean. More. Don't think we've left anything. Like that. We can throw that in with transformers. It's just a sealed unit, so you won't get anything out of that. And that looks about it. One more here with the ferrite top. It's a little blue one. So you can see the ferrite top on the top. So that's got copper inside it. More. There's a little bit more there I'll clean up. What else we got? Well, that might be it. So these capacitors don't have copper in there, obviously. Yeah. Got some here. These little square caps. You might be familiar with these. They've got the silver contacts. So the little contact there on the end, that's silver, and the rest will go as brass, but that little tiny contact is silver, so some people like to keep them little contacts, and then the rest is just a spool of copper. Same deal, remove that little plastic, and we should be able to wind it all off. It's very fine, so you've got to be gentle with this one, otherwise it breaks and you end up leaving a little bit of copper right at the end. There we go, nice and clean. It's very soft, light copper, this one. But it all adds up. That's one. One more. And one more. So I'll just do this one. Got all that nice copper. That was nice and quick. Beautiful. Add it to our bucket. Okay, so there's still the silver contact here to remove, a few other bits and pieces. But as far as copper is concerned, I've cut myself. Might be another one here. Yeah. See, this one here, it looks like the same thing as, it looks like these ones, but these ones are sealed units, so you don't get anything out of that. That's just all resin, too hard to leave, so just leave them. I'll take the aluminium transformer. But yeah, no, looks like we've got all our copper that we're going to get out of it. And now what we've got left is this copper yoke. So first I'll just take off these little spools. So we're going to have some nice copper there to take out. Another one here. Got all that copper in there, we're going to take out as well. 4 more little spools here. So we'll take off that copper. Okay. All right, and then we've got the nice copper under here, under the ferrite. Some people like to just pull them apart manually without smashing them up. So that there is just ferrite, smashes up, but it goes as scrap steel. Throw that in with your pressing steel. Okay. So we've got a nice 2 pieces of copper here. Okay. So part of the yoke, we've got this brown glue here that we want to, it's like a wax glue. we want to try and remove as much as that off before we melt it. Which I'll try and do before I put it into the furnace. But also, because it's a large piece, I need to cut this down into smaller pieces, just so I can fit it into the crucible. So, but you want to remove as much of this glue as possible, so you don't have to actually melt it down and get it in with your crucible there. All right. So one more piece here. One more nice little piece. Get off this glue. Beautiful. And then this side, we've also got this spool. It's usually you can just break it apart, break off the tops, and we just want to split this, the little clips. A little bit messy, but still, we get the job done. So there we go. Again, we're going to have to cut these into smaller pieces to put into the crucible, but these ones generally don't have much glue. A little bit of tape will burn off. So, good pieces. And one more there. So we'll still clean up these before we go to melt. And we've still got all that to clean up. So I'll clean this up and we'll get ready to melt it. I will weigh it up, see how much it weighs, and then we'll melt it down. Alright, so we've got all our copper in here. I've cut up the pieces from the yoke into manageable bits. So with this copper, it's you can see the lacquer over it, and see this one's even darker. So this is you know, it's got shellacking over it, so it's not it's not 100% pure. So that's why we're going to need to put quite a bit of borax in there to remove all this shellacking and material and trap it into the borax to in order for us to get a nice pure copper. So we ended up getting 1.12 kilos. So what I'll probably do is I'll get rid of these big pieces and I'll stuff them in one at a time. So once we've got some molten copper inside it, I can just drop one piece at a time and let that melt, say every couple of minutes. Okay, well I've got about 3/4 full. Can't fit much in there because it's all just chunky wire, so there's a lot of air gaps in there. So we're just going to have to wait till it starts melting down and then just keep adding the rest to it. How it looks in the end. Should have over a kilo bar, so I'm going to use this little bit bigger mold just so we can fit everything in there and just see how it feels in the hand once it's been poured. And but yeah, I could technically add some more copper to it, but I just wanted one bar that was going to represent one television. So I'm not really worried about the exact weight. Whatever it is, it is. All right. Well, that's our television copper pour. So we'll see what the bar looks like. But yeah, I'm pretty excited that, you know, it's just going to be a bar that represents one television scrap. Well, looks like a beautiful bar. Let's get some water. Look at that. Looks really nice, hey? That's beautiful, I love it. Oh man, I love it. Yeah, baby. Woohoo! Oh, this is a beautiful looking bar, actually. Oh, wow. Tops are a bit rough, but that's all borax. So that'll certainly polish off. Well, look how nice and sharp the bar is, you know, that's magnificent. Oh God. I mean, I could probably do 100 of these and still never get over the beauty of it. I mean, that's a magnificent bar. I love it. Sony television, copper, wow. All right, I'll just weigh her up. And I'll polish her up first and then we'll give it away. The top is it's a bit of a moon cratery kind of look to it. It's got a few little holes. Maybe it was when I put the flame over it to try and blow away all the spent flux. But it's looking pretty good. Okay, well yeah, I'm not sure why the craters, maybe someone can tell me, maybe it was when I blew the torch over it, but that's fine. I'm really happy with this side. It's really nice and smooth. It's going to, you know, allow me to stamp it if I want, you know, with the Sony TV. It's a really nice thickness. It's just a really good bar in hand. And yeah, very, very happy with that. I mean, geez. All right, you know, I might get better and I might not blow it off next time, and you know, it might give me a better finish, but I don't really mind. My first pour of this size, so yeah, super happy with that. Can't complain. So I'll just get the scales and weigh it up. Okay, well there you go, just over a kilo. So we ended up getting a kilo bar. We've still got some flux and probably a bit of copper still in the crucible, so I won't worry about that, but we definitely got over 1 kilo, and you know, so beautiful. I can call it a kilo bar. So it's about 2.5 pounds. Or 2.25 pounds. Yeah, it's beautiful bar. That's, you know, 2.25 pounds. No, what is it? Oh, I don't know about pounds, but it's 1 kilo bar, and you know, from one television. So yeah, someone's going to say, oh, but what's that worth? It's worth, you know, $5 or $6. Oh, well, big deal. It's not about, you know, go and buy this bar for $6 somewhere. You know, you're not going to get it from scrap wire and junky wire. You know, you've got now a hand poured, you know, artisan type of bar. You know, any copper collector that likes to stack metals like gold, silver, and also copper, well, geez, you know, what more do you want? That's really nice. And if you can imagine having these stacked up, you know, like 10 of them, it'll look awesome. So, oh well, that's it. That's the Sony television scrap from Free Copper. And you can, you know, you can still pick up those old TVs on the street like I just did. And you know, yeah, you know, you get yourself some free copper. You can either keep it free and just keep the wire as it is and sell the wire, or you can spend a bit of time and effort and make your own bar. And you know, it's something you can keep forever. And if you stamp it with what it was and maybe put a date on it, you know, it's a bit of a memento for something just to keep for years to come. Pass it down to your kids. This is what Grandpa you know, made in the last century. Anyway guys, keep scrapping, have fun, and I'll catch you next time.